The terrorism charges were just dropped against Luigi Mangione, and I think that the judge was way off on this one. It's a 12-page ruling, so we can't go over all of it, and to be clear, the judge does describe the killing as, quote, abhorrent and despicable, so I'm definitely not accusing them of having some sort of secret sympathies for Mangione. But for example, when discussing the political nature behind Mangione, the prosecution brings up that the term revolutionary anarchism can be found in his writings. But the judge claims that this is insufficient and writes in their ruling, not only does this stretch the import of a two-word phrase beyond what it can carry, but it ignores other more explicit excerpts from defendant's writings in which he states that his goal is to spread a, quote, message and, quote, win public support about, quote, everything wrong with our health system. Therefore, the court finds that the people failed to establish an intent to, quote, influence or, quote, affect government. How can you say he was not trying to influence or affect government when he was literally trying to win public support over the things wrong with the health system? He is clearly looking for changes in the government. In a different section of the ruling, the judge writes, the defendant's apparent objective, as stated in his writings, was not to threaten, intimidate, or coerce, but rather to draw attention to what he perceived as the greed of the insurance industry. So the judge is claiming his intention was not to coerce, despite the fact that coercion is defined as the practice of persuading someone to do something by using force or threats. Yes, Mangione was trying to change or persuade public opinion, and he was doing so via force. And assassination is force. That is coercion. In a different section, the judge writes, well, the defendant was clearly expressing an animus towards United Healthcare and the healthcare industry generally. It does not follow that his goal was to, quote, intimidate and coerce a civilian population. Brian Thompson was a civilian employee of United Healthcare and was viewed as a legitimate target for assassination by Luigi. I would argue that the other employees of United Healthcare or the healthcare industry generally are a civilian population. I would argue that targeting someone because of their membership in that group is a form of intimidation and coercion of that civilian population. Now, obviously, it's not like everything against Mangione was dropped. There are still very severe charges that exist against him at both the state and federal level. But I do think that this was an act of terrorism. It was a mistake for that not to be a charge at the federal level. And I do think it was a mistake for the judge to dismiss it at the state level.